This has been an absolutely disastrous morning for Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. You saw there MAGA Mike Johnson, the MAGA Republican Speaker of the House, scurrying off after a disaster press conference that he held in the Capitol building. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries once again challenged MAGA Mike Johnson to debate all of these issues regarding the government shutdown in public, transparently before the press, so that the American people can see what's happening. MAGA Mike Johnson rejected it and said that he and Donald Trump and all of the Republicans believe doing anything in public is sheer theatrics, and we don't want to engage in theatrics. We are done speaking with Democrats. We are done having any further negotiations. That's coming from MAGA Mike Johnson and Donald Trump today in response to Democrats saying, let's just do this negotiation in public. We've always been willing to do that. We need to protect the American people's health care. Let's go back to this disastrous press conference this morning. MAGA Mike Johnson was sent out there, obviously, by Donald Trump, who still is really refusing to hold a press conference and talk publicly about what's going down. And MAGA Mike Johnson looks at the camera, and you can see that they are significantly losing the information war right now because they are to blame for the government shutdown. But MAGA Mike's like, when the truth is on your side, you have nothing to hide from. But he's like, but I got to repeat it over and over and over and over again. My lies. Here, play this clip, what he says.
I say the same things privately that I say publicly. We are consistent, and that's why it's easy for me to stand up here and share the facts. When the simple truth is on your side, you have nothing to hide from. I'm just presenting this to the American people. This is the fourth time we've done that. I hate to drag you all out and go through all the details, but I've got to put on the case over and over because repetition apparently is the key to this. People are starting to recognize this is not a Republican shutdown. It is a Schumer Democrat shutdown. Again, why? Because they needed political cover. It's shameless. It is sad. Real people are hurting, and it needs to end. They'll have another opportunity this evening. And I sure pray, and I hope you all will, that a handful of additional common sense people on the Democrat side will change their votes, reopen the government, so we can get back to all these issues as we desperately want to do. Thank you all so much for being here.
So while MAGA Mike is out there doing that, you have Donald Trump posting just out good news for the holiday season. Oh, you don't call it Christmas, Donald? Good news for the holiday season. Early prices are down, while tariffs are making our country an economic power again. Also, virtually no inflation as stock markets continually hit record highs. The best of all worlds for the USA. Do you think prices are down? When you go grocery shopping, when you go to stores, do you go, the prices are down? Do you think things are affordable? Do you think Donald Trump spiking the football and saying this is a golden age for you is accurate? Or do you believe, like his entire life, he's one gigantic fraud? Dude lies about absolutely everything. Going back to this MAGA Mike disastrous presser from this morning, MAGA Mike is asked a question about healthcare, about what Democrats are saying that if we don't address the Affordable Care Act subsidies now, people's premiums are about to go up 3, 4, 5 times per month, which would lead to medical bankruptcies. Watch what MAGA Mike Johnson says here. Here, play this clip.
Yeah, they've been saying that some of the insurance companies will be sending out notices in early November. The last time I checked, it's October 6th. We have the entire month of October. We'll stay here around the clock to work through all these things, but we have to get government open again to do it. They're trying to obscure the issue. We are talking about a simple funding measure that the Democrats themselves have voted on over and over and over. Chuck Schumer, they voted on it 13 times during the Biden administration. This is the exact same thing that was on the floor in March when Chuck Schumer, I should have brought his video and let him give you the speech of why it was so important to pass it. Nothing has changed except the politics. So that's a political issue that they're trying to make out of it.
As Melanie D'Aragio says, this man does not care how much your health insurance premiums goes up. If you're rationing medicine so you can pay rent, or if you die because you can't afford care. He only cares about protecting their tax breaks for the rich and getting you to blame immigrants for everything. You hear what he said? He goes, the last time I checked, it's only October. I just want you to think, MAGA Mike, for people whose subsidies are about to expire in just a few months and the notices are about to hit in a few days, do you think they're like, oh, We trust MAGA Mike and Donald Trump. They're going to clearly extend these subsidies. Just extend the subsidies now. Just put one sentence, subsidies are extended, because whether you're in a red district, blue district, purple district, this impacts you. So what the hell are you doing? And as California Governor Gavin Newsom says, truth, Mike Johnson wants to triple your healthcare costs. Truth, Mike Johnson wants to rip healthcare away from 20 million people. Truth, Mike Johnson's shutdown will cost the American people billions of dollars. Truth, Mike Johnson is a sad little man. He absolutely is. And then here's what he's asked. Who will own the political impact if health insurance goes up 200%? Here, play this clip.
Jake.
Who will own, if you're not able to extend these subsidies, which is a possibility, it seems, who will own the political impact from that if health insurance does go up 200%?
That's putting the cart like a mile in front of the horse. I believe that the subsidy issue, that's the December 31 issue, is a complicated one. It hasn't worked well. It's filled with abuse. We have a lot of ideas on how to improve upon it if indeed it goes forward. And I mentioned yesterday, there's 535 members when you count House and Senate. And there's probably 400 different ideas on how to fix that. But we need the next couple of weeks to have those vigorous, deliberate debates, which is how the process is supposed to work. So I'm not going to forecast how that comes out, and neither could any of you, because those debates haven't been held yet. And that's kind of the irony, because Chuck Schumer is saying something that he knows isn't true. He's saying, oh, you guys snap your fingers. You and Leader Thune go in the back room and tell us how that's going to be resolved today so we can reopen the government. That's impossible for me to do. I have to have the input of all of our members so that they can figure that out. So that's part of the process. Last one.
And then finally, MAGA Mike's like, let me look right into the camera and tell you very clearly, we're the ones concerned about healthcare. Okay, well, if you're concerned about healthcare, extend the subsidies or tell us what your plan is. Just say what your plan is. Here, play this clip.
So they created a red herring. A red herring is a distraction. They decided that they would pick a fight on healthcare. Well, let me look right into the camera and tell you very clearly, Republicans are the ones concerned about healthcare. Republicans are the party working around the clock every day to fix healthcare. This is not talking points for us. We've done it. A big part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, was to fix healthcare. Healthcare is broken in America. It's too expensive. The quality of care needs to rise. We need more access for more people, and we have lots of ideas to do that. But that issue is for debate in the next 3 months. It always was. We have members working on that.
All right, let's talk some facts here. 4 companies control over 80% of the U.S. meat industry. Not good. And China now controls the largest portion of U.S. pork. Not good. These companies are using really awful tactics, in my opinion, to crush American family farms. And with the additives they're putting into our food, Americans are stuck with sketchy meat not made in America, truly. So what can we do about this? Let me tell you about a company that's coming up swinging on behalf of the American family farms and your family's food security. They're called Moink. You know we love Moink here at the MeidasTouch Network. The business is simple. Moink's meat comes from animals raised outdoors, where a pig is free to be a pig. Their farmers are given an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, and they deliver meat straight to your doorstep at prices you can actually afford. Born, raised, and harvested right here in the United States of America. Moink is helping save rural America, which y'all know we need more than ever right now. I love Moink, especially their bacon, and I know you will too. Join the Moink movement today. Support American family farms and join the Moink movement today at moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch right now and get free bacon for a year. That's 1 year of the best bacon you'll ever taste, but for a limited time. It's spelled MOINK box.com/MeidasTouch. That's moinkbox.com/MeidasTouch. Join the movement. So what's your plan, MAGA Mike? What is your plan? Here you have MAGA Republican Congressmember Randy Fine saying that Democrats are terrorists and we can't negotiate with terrorists. This is how they refer to Democrats. Okay, that's not the way our system of government's supposed to function. So if you wonder why this is happening, it's because Donald Trump was calling Democrats gnats. He called them gnats in front of the Navy, and then in front of the admirals and generals last week, he basically said they're the enemy from within. So they're not even having discussions with the Democrats, yet alone negotiating. And that's how our system functions when you have multiple political parties, two parties, and you need to reach compromise. So this is all on Republicans, and all the Democrats are trying to do is extend people's healthcare subsidies that Randy fined. These are people in your congressional district who are going to be kicked off of their healthcare. Here, play this clip.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we just have about maybe 40 seconds left. How does this end? Look into your crystal ball. Are Republicans going to stand firm?
I hope so. I mean, I intend to. I don't negotiate with terrorists. And what we've learned, and whether it's dealing with Muslim terrorists or Democrats, you've got to stand up and you've got to do the right thing. And I hope that we stand firm and tell them, no, we're not going to retreat on giving free health care to illegal immigrants. We're just not going to do it. And hopefully the American people will rise up and tell them to stop the clown show and get the government reopened.
All right.
Also, we have, as Donald Trump's bragging about how great the economy is, we have to do a farm bailout right now because we're going through something called Farmageddon, where our farmers can't sell their produce anywhere, especially soybean farmers are suffering. They're all going bankrupt. And if something isn't rolled out soon, it will then have a systemic impact on the overall economy, spiraling America into a Great Depression. But you know, for Donald Trump and his regime, that type of socialism, bailing out farmers, that's just what you do. They don't believe that socialism. Donald Trump's failed tariffs that then require taxpayer bailouts. That's not socialism. What about taxpayers giving $20 billion to bail out Argentina? So it seems like Argentina first over America healthcare first. Play this clip.
Just shifting gears a little. Where are we on trade? Where are we with China? Could you see tariff money being used to support the farmers who obviously are being hit hard by, I think, China retaliated against some of the tariffs recently. Maybe they had slowed buying soybeans last year, but certainly they went to zero in May based on the tariffs. Right. Is that an option that it's going to happen?
Right. The president has already said that he thinks that the tariff money is going to be useful for helping us find the funds that we need to help farmers. We've had numerous meetings over the last week or two about exactly what we're going to do to help the farmers, but we're taking big measures, and those big measures are going to be public really, really soon. And yes, so for sure, China has, especially for soybean farmers, has stopped buying U.S. soybeans. Right now, the silos are full, and there are soybeans sitting on the ground with tarps over them. That's unacceptable to the president. We're calling up all our soybean customers around the world as part of our trade negotiations, and we're also getting ready to have really strong policies to support our farmers.
We haven't heard anything about trade negotiations recently. What happened to India?
It's still a work in progress.
Then finally, it is worth noting that the state of Illinois brought a lawsuit this morning seeking a restraining order to block the Trump regime's invasion of Chicago. The Trump regime is calling in the National Guard of Texas to invade the state of Illinois. Calling the National Guard of Texas to invade Illinois. State of Illinois filed the lawsuit this morning. And this is the statement from the Department of Homeland Security's Tricia McLaughlin. Let's play it.
And is it totally divisive to suggest that just going a black and brown people introduces a ridiculous racial element into this? That is outrageous, what this governor's saying.
It's blood boiling. It is a disgusting smear to say there's racial profiling going on. Our ICE law enforcement are targeting criminals, and they're targeting those who are in this country illegally. Race has nothing to do with it. And for him to do that upon all these attacks on our law enforcement is just despicable. We will continue, though, to surge resources to protect the public in Chicago since J.B. Pritzker refuses to do it. And might I add the fact that J.B. Pritzker refuses to walk his own streets. Secretary Noem was just down there 2 days ago. She saw the rampant violence, the rampant crime, and J.B. Pritzker needs to step up and actually.
Yeah, I mean, the venom of these MAGAs, right? They're so angry and venomous. She's like, we're not racially profiling. You literally argued to the United States Supreme Court that you should be able to racially profile. The argument was based on someone's skin color and where they hang out, we should be able to profile them and detain them. That was the argument. And the right-wing Supreme Court said, okay, you can do it. That's my thing with these MAGAs. Just own your issue. That's literally what you argued, that you should be able to racially profile. And the Supreme Court said you could the right-wing Supreme Court said you could. That's the ruling. That's the holding. This was the statement from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker yesterday. This evening, President Trump is ordering 400 members of the Texas National Guard for deployments in Illinois and Oregon and other locations within the United States. No officials from the federal government called me directly to discuss or coordinate. We must now start calling this what it is, Trump's invasion. It started with federal agents. It will soon include deploying federalized members of the Illinois National Guard against our wishes, and will now involve sending in another state's military troops. I call on Governor Abbott to immediately withdraw any support for this decision and refuse to coordinate. There is no reason a president should send military troops into a sovereign state without their knowledge, consent, or cooperation. The brave men and women who serve in our National Guards must not be used as political props. This is a moment where every American must speak up and help stop this madness. So on that, let's speak up and stop this madness. Let's use our voice. Let's use our power. Let's support, protect, and defend our democracy. Peacefully, of course. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.